Okay, we'll start with the lights. I got myself some 18 gauge 2 connector cable spliced in, zip tied right below the spade connector so there's no tension on that connector. Same thing over here, some more 2 connector cable, and I just like twisted the black ones into one crimp, red ones into another crimp, stuck them together, zip tied below the connection so there's no tension on that connection. One of my aluminum brackets that's just screwed through the drift cutter holes with some stainless screws. Brackets are set back so that I can tip it up on the face without these touching the ground, and they're sort of cross-eyed so they spread. Run the connector down underneath so that the snow can slough off. Right here, this is power coming from the motor. It's actually AC power. And this is the ground, which I spliced into the black grounds coming from the lights. And then I transitioned to some 18 gauge 4 connector wire, red and black to the lights, yellow and red from the AC power. Runs up the side, up to underneath, cuts in. Behind there is an AC-DC converter that the red and yellow, the white and yellow go into. That comes out as ground and hot, and the ground goes to a ground bus bar. The hot goes through an inline fuse into the switch, then back to the hot bus bar. And those 4 little lights are all wired up to the bus bar. And then they go also back down those wires down to the lights. That was a tricky project, but it was fun. I also wired up a tachometer, hour meter, which is just 5 wraps around the spark plug coil. It goes up the side and around. That's that. Also, to make my life easier reaching down for controls, I tied these cables back in a loose cable tie on here and tightened them up over here. So from the top, it's easier to reach down and do stuff with a gloved hand. I added a valve, shut-off valve. Where is it? Right here. And that was flopping around, so I actually riveted a bracket to the cover and zip tied it to that. And I painted it with that same black engine enamel that I did the brackets with. A little scuffed up, but those are aluminum, so that's fine. I've also cut away the plastic from here back because the plastic used to run all the way around to underneath the plug. So you'd have to remove a screw there, this heat shield, and these screws just to get to the carburetor. And this heat shield has 1 screw back there. So in the manual it says, step 1, to get to the carburetor, remove the chute. So you'd have to take the screw out from under there, take the chute off, take the cover off, remove screws on here just to get 1 screw on this. And yeah, I mean, it moves a little, but it says not to touch it. So it's fine. So now for me to get to the carburetor, I just left that screw out. So now I just have to unscrew 4 other screws quickly. They're all 10 millimeter. And this pops right off. And I can get to that, and that pops right off. I don't even have to take the choke knob off. So super happy with all the modifications. These are also the whatchamacallem, clamps, pipe clamps, hose clamps, whatever. Since the handlebars only have 2 connecting screws, and that keeps the whole thing very, very rigid. The only thing I have left to do is I am going to come in here and put some heat shrink over these connections. I just wanted to make sure it all ran before I did that. So that's the synopsis. These cables still work just fine in their new position. Very happy. This is my modified Cub Cadet.